Welcome to the only real estate podcast worth listening to, with your hosts Nick Good, Matt Kelderman, and Brian Force. Combined, they have 26 years of experience and have sold over 1,500 homes. Join them each week as they bring you everything you need to know about real estate. And now, here are your hosts, Nick, Matt, and Brian.
What's up, everyone?
What up?
What's up, Brian?
Getting by. I'm my second Red Bull of the day, so I'm just now waking up.
This guy is fueled by Red Bull and beef jerky.
100%, man.
I'm giving it up.
Lean meats. You thought I was giving it up?
No, I'm giving it up.
Oh, you're giving it up.
I'm done right now.
You shamed him 2 weeks ago when you called him out on the podcast about jackhammering caffeine at the beginning of the show.
Yeah. That'll not last. You think think you've given up Red Bull?
Yeah.
It has a demon-like grip on you that you can't even imagine.
So you have a lot of faith in me. So we've got a great guest today. We are going to be having Zach Nussbaum join us.
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking about Facebook, and more Facebook.
Yeah, and we get to use the screen.
That's right.
First time.
I thought it was going to be with the Lion Desk guy, but I guess not.
Next week.
Next week.
I'll put money down that it won't.
No. It must happen next week. That one's on me.
So for those that don't know Zach is with Braintrust Interactive. He's one of the top digital marketing and Facebook experts. Knows all about generating hundreds of leads through Facebook and helping people automate that through a follow-up system.
Yep.
So it can not have you call all the time and send your own texts and emails. So Zach, thank you for joining us today on short notice.
Yep.
Yeah. So I've got two things to touch on real quick. Real interesting choice, drinking Red Bull out of a coffee mug. I want to learn more about that a little bit later.
Branding.
And good luck with the Lion Desk CEO. We had him on several months ago, and it took like 7 fucking times. So,
Beauty.
Told you.
Dang,
now
man.
I know where
He's
for.
See, he's touching on two hot topics. He's touching on the okay. So first off, Zach, the question we have to ask everybody, and you brought up the mugs. Do you drink with your left or right hand when drinking from a mug?
I don't think I know how to drink with my left.
See, I told
Thank you.
I'm a left-handed drinker.
These damn mugs have the branding on the wrong side for every normal human being except for Nick and like one other listener. So, anyways, that came about a month ago. So,
Complete nonsense.
yeah, Nick's way in last place on that.
Mm-hmm.
So Zach, tell
Send
us.
the extra 50 cents and get it on both sides.
That's what a normal person should do.
I agree with you. I mean, we would spend the money for an extra only real estate podcast worth listening to. On both
Exactly.
sides.
We got to get our own mugs.
Zach, tell us a little bit about your company and what you do and what you specialize in.
Yeah. So we've been in business for 7-8 years now. Almost exclusively on Facebook, almost exclusively working with real estate agents and brokers to generate leads, build up that pipeline. Over the years, it's really evolved from a pure online lead gen business to a more kind of all-inclusive marketing company. With you, Nick, it's still primarily just lead gen. But as a whole, we've realized that just generating leads online is kind of a dime a dozen and really hard to convert. So we've taken it from following up, automated follow-up, building our own ISA team, and basically doing everything with those leads up to the point of actually, putting them in a house. So it's been a huge evolution over the last 7-8 years of to mostly ensure that, we're getting our clients the best results we can get them, and also retain you guys because we got to pay the bills too.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do when it comes to working with real estate agents, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And before we dive into this further, if you've advertised on Facebook, if you're currently running any Facebook ads right now, go ahead and drop a thumbs up in the comments below. Let us know if you've ever advertised or currently are advertising on Facebook. I know right now that it's a hot topic just because of the potential or the changes that are coming down the pipeline. I know I called Zach last week when right after we did the show, we talked about the HUD changes. And I said, Zach, what is this gonna screw anything up of mine? Right? Because we're having success with Facebook. Zach has been able to generate lots of leads for us at a low cost per click. Doesn't always mean anything because there's something about quantity and quality, but he's definitely helped us kind of learn how to tweak and manage that. So go ahead and drop a thumbs up if you've ever advertised on Facebook or currently are. And then if you're listening to us on YouTube, subscribe, hit that dingy thing.
Yeah.
And on iTunes, leave us a review.
Download us.
Yes, 100%.
Nice. I mean, and Zach, I don't know. I will say first off, I am not the Facebook tech savvy guy of the group, so my questions are going to be limited in scope and intelligence. But I am curious, just initially in the first week, what you did see with some of the changes. Was it something pretty dramatic? I mean, like, how did that affect your side of things?
Well, let's get this straight right away. The first week, there are no changes that have been made.
Okay.
And you're not going to see those changes made for, I would guess, shortest amount of time, 9 months.
Okay.
So you've got a lot of time before any actual changes start to occur. And as I told Nick when he called me sweating and scared and, on the verge of they're not going to affect us. They're not going to affect the people that we teach how to run ads. It's just not something with what we do that is of any concern. So the two primary changes that have happened with the HUD stuff, housing and urban development, is number one, you can't discriminate by age. Number two, you cannot discriminate by zip codes. Sounds, I guess, intimidating. But from our perspective, number one, age, a little bit of a factor, but Facebook's algorithm is so intense and so much smarter than any of us that, now we have to target 18-year-olds, and now we have to target people that are 65 years and older. And would we normally do that? Probably not. But we do that for fun anyway, just to see what's going to happen. And majority of the time, 3 to 5% of your traffic is going in front of those age groups that you don't actually want it to go in front of, because Facebook knows, oh, this is a real estate style ad. 18-year-olds are not buying homes. 18-year-olds, it's just not what is really happening. So they're not going to waste your impressions on the audiences that you don't want to be put in front of. Mm-hmm. It takes a little bit of a learning curve. It's a little bit of effort on, early on in the campaigns. But after 2-3 days, the campaign optimizes and you're fine. You're going to see people 28 to, or late 40s are the primary people that are going to be seeing this ad. So that's number one. The second one with the zip codes, a little bit of a pain in the ass, but what Facebook isn't telling you, and what they're likely not telling HUD either, is you still have the ability to drop pins. So, the same way you can drop a pin on your map on your phone to let you know where it is, you can do the same thing in Facebook's backend targeting. And it's actually more effective than typing in a zip code, because you can drop a pin and only target within a mile radius of that pin. That's not disappearing. So you can exclude or include as many people at as many regions as you want. Nothing is changing. And then for us, we have a little bit of a leg up beyond probably a lot of marketing companies. But I mean, we have a list of 275,000 homeowners. Name, email, phone number that we put into a custom audience. That way, a large portion of the leads that we're generating are homeowners, which means, number one, they likely have decent credit, but also maybe you're going to get them to sell their home at the same time. So we really utilize custom audiences as well as lookalike audiences in order to really bring our targeting to the next level.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate you breaking that down, because I understood it. Let's just say it's something.
100%. Well, I mean, essentially what you've done, and going back to kind of the synopsis of what your company does, you've more or less built a real estate team just without going to closings, basically. I mean, you've done everything except... Yeah, like, I mean, yeah, 100%. That's basically it. So for those of us, I mean, obviously the best practice is to go hire somebody like you to leverage everything out to it and really optimize things. For the upstart agent that wants to get involved in paid Facebook advertising, but doesn't have the capital to do it on a massive scale, and I'm managing things myself, right? What are some of the best practices as far as running ads, what to do, what not to do? How can I personally sort of optimize some of the things that I'm doing?
Sure. Yeah. So if you don't have a huge budget, you don't need one. We actually coach marketers and real estate agents to run their own ads as well. So maybe come, holler at us. We have a Facebook group that gives you a lot of free content that you can really be successful with, but I'm not here to pitch that. $5 a day.
We'll link it in the show notes, though.
There you go.
Okay, cool. Yeah. But you put $5 a day into an ad campaign, and you have a good offer and a good picture, and you utilize the Facebook lead form, which is about the most simple thing to use. You're going to start generating leads. You're going to get buyers and sellers that are interested in, that are going to put their name, their email, and phone number. So in terms of a good offer, there's a few that we really utilize. My favorite, which we just started doing with Nick not too long ago, is new construction. Yeah. If you have the relationship with a developer, or you can develop a relationship with a developer, oftentimes they want to get those houses sold as fast as they can, and they have ridiculous incentives in order to get these houses sold. We have a client in Canada actually right now that they are offering a $25,000 in-ground pool for free if you buy a house with them. So you put, hey, buy this house for this price, get a free $25,000 pool put in. People are going to probably put their name, email, and phone number to, if nothing else, hear you out and see what it is you're going to do. But then much simpler ones, if you can't, if you don't have that relationship with a developer, just a homes list, right? I mean, people have been doing this in real estate marketing since the 70s in magazines. You go into ads in the magazines for real estate, contact us to get a list of all the homes between this price range. Contact us to get a list of the best deals in town, stuff like that. It's just an offer. People are going to want to see what's available, what's in the market. They might not be the hottest leads right now, but you get them into your database and you start to nurture those people. This is ultimately a relationship business, and all you need is people available to you so you can start developing a relationship.
100%.
So that's really it.
Dive a little deeper. So, all right, because I want to kind of get this at like a higher level too for some of the people that are already running their own ads that sort of understand a lot of the basics. So let's say we're doing a house list, right? Take me through, one of the things that we've done that's really effective, and I'm sure you guys do similar things, so I kind of want to get some of your insight on it. You know, when somebody clicks on a listing of ours, right, let's say it's a $400,000 listing in Frisco, Texas, right, you're automatically going to get retargeted with homes list for everything in Frisco from $300,000 to $500,000, right? Give me an idea of, if I'm running ads and I want to try and decrease my overall cost per lead with retargeting, what's coming up when I click on certain. So let's say I run a new construction ad, right? And I click on it and I get pixelated. What am I following that with in my workflow that's helping to convert some of those leads and keep them coming back?
So I think in terms of retargeting, which it's really a shame that a lot of marketers have done this to real estate agents. So many real estate agents think you have to live and die by retargeting. Okay. And I just personally, I don't believe in that. I think unless you have a significant budget that you're ready to spend and understand that retargeting, let's say you allocate 30% of your budget to retargeting, you have to understand that retargeting is not going to be providing you with tangible results for 8 months minimum. Yeah. So you have to be ready to take, let's say for easy math, $1,000 a month budget, 300 of that you're allocating to retargeting. You have to be ready to spend upwards of, $4,000 before you really see any actual return on that. For a lot of people, that's fine. A lot of people, that's not fine. So for me, what I do, especially with lower budgets, is we send people into chatbots and we send people into drips, both email, text. And then our clients that utilize our ISA services, we also have long-term humans that follow up. Nick's people, they still don't call me. They still follow up with me. So Nick's team doesn't. Yeah. Yeah. I don't even know how many fucking times I've been like, I'm his marketer. Can you please take me off this list? But a lot of agents are not, they don't live and die by the phone, which they should. Right. But so a lot don't. So we help there as well with our ISA team, long-term follow-up. But then we have the chatbot in place, which is used on the front end to, qualify them a bit further, get a couple of more touch points out of them rather than just name, email, and phone number. And then, but not only that, it's the same thing as building up an email list, but it's much more effective. So we send out bi-weekly broadcasts to them, which is so like every subscriber in that chatbot gets a message. And what we've started to do with Nick, which is one of the first people we do it with, is these messages are about 75% non-real estate related and 25% real estate related. So we talk about events going on in DFW. We talk about charity events. Nick and his wife did a charity event. I think it was either Christmas time or Valentine's time.
Okay.
Or no, you did one for Valentine's as well with the pizza. And so a lot of it, because it's such a heavy relationship business, they don't give a shit about, you know, all this real estate stuff being shoved down their throat. Like, if you tell them you have a new open house every 2 days, they don't want to hear that. But if you tell them like, oh,
we were doing that for so long, and people we got murdered on that. I used to send out every Thursday like the open houses for that week, and I'd get my unsubscribes, which is
just go through the roof.
Dude. I just didn't have enough thought put into it at all. So yeah, you're right. I've gotten murdered on that before.
So, and that's the thing. It takes a very, very little effort. I know very little about DFW, but I know that Nick is involved in the community, Habitat for Humanity, the pizza stuff, the stuff that he's doing with his wife, and then also the video content. So it's not just shoving real estate down their throat trying to get the sale, and then those sales will just come to you. You're building a relationship. People are actually going to want to look forward to the Facebook messages and the email content that you're putting out to them, because you're not just the worst salesman in the world. And then it's just showing up constantly, right? My girlfriend and I were buying another home right now. We had a meeting with a loan officer scheduled yesterday for 10 a.m. Completely blew us off. Did not answer, did not respond. I have now called him twice. Called him the third time just to say, fuck you, you're fired.
Yeah.
Like, we were the easiest deal. We were a referral to you.
Right.
And you don't even have the decency to follow up with us. So, and that's it, man. It's just showing them that you're there, you know, and because it's a relationship. The loan officer's not going to do it. I have good credit. I have money. Like, the loan officer wasn't going to do anything for me. I just chose him because a real estate agent I knew referred me. And you couldn't even show up, you know? So, and I think that's really it, is you have to just show up and be there for people.
So Zach, so walk me through this, right? So, you know, Gary V thinks that, you know, Facebook, not in his own words, but it's starting to get played out, right? Right. He's all into Instagram now, but is Facebook going the way in terms of generating leads the way Craigslist was? Because back in the day, I was generating a shit ton of Craigslist leads. We were making over $100,000 off of it every year from it, and then all of a sudden turned off like a light switch, right? So is Facebook played out, or how much life is left in this, or is this for the foreseeable future? Are we able to tap this oil well and it's going to pay us, you know, for a long time?
Yeah, so first and foremost, Gary Vee's a fucking clown, and
I love this guy so much.
I mean, really, like, that dude has no idea what's going on. There's no grasp.
That's so good.
Like, I actually have personal relationships with Gary Vee, and I have 3 of my good buddies at startup, and all of them within 4 days put in their 2 weeks of being at his. Yeah, I mean,
did they get beanies in their severance package?
No, they got, each one of them got one of his ex-wives.
That's good.
Show's fit fire. I love it.
But no, sorry. Just Gary Vee cracks me up.
Sorry, they'll give us something to link in the YouTube comments, in the show notes.
But no, I mean, absolutely not. You're just like anything in any kind of marketing, you're going to have to continue to pivot. You're going to have to come up with new ideas. But I mean, our lead costs have been essentially the same wide for the last 8 years. You know, like, it's a little bit harder because more people are becoming privy to to Facebook lead gen and stuff like that. So it's a little bit tougher. It's a little bit lower conversion rate maybe, but that's also largely due to the lack of systems that a lot of brokers and agents have. Because I mean, this is a long game. It's a long, you know, it's not get results overnight. So, but in short, no.
Well, so touch on that for us, because that's the biggest thing, right? Anybody with at least some experience in this field can learn how to generate leads through Facebook ads. They might not have the best cost per lead or anything, but just the fundamentals of it and how to set up ads and stuff. Pretty much anybody can learn that. People don't convert them, right? We get Facebook leads get such a bad rap in this industry, and they don't need to. You guys have built out a team that basically takes it from, initial conversation all the way to conversion pretty much. What does that follow-up look like, and what does the life cycle of an online lead look like? What are your ISAs saying? How are we getting people really into the pipeline and getting them serious?
Yeah, so with clients that do the ISA follow-up, we provided them with scripts. I actually make a script, which I think is proving to be fairly useful. So, I mean, scripts is absolutely a necessity, and a script that is going to work. One of our business partners started one of the larger Keller Williams teams in Michigan, and his job was just writing scripts. Yeah. So we have some pretty good scripts that we provide. But what our ISAs do is they work from 7 in the morning, whatever time that client is in, 7 in the morning till 8 at night. And when a lead comes in during that time period, every single lead is called within the first 90 seconds of them being sent into that client's CRM. Wow. After that, if they don't answer, they are called 2 more times. We call it the bulldog approach. So it's 3 times. The first 2 times, you do not leave a voicemail. The 3rd time, if they still don't answer, you leave a voicemail as well as a text message. Is that aggressive? Absolutely. Yeah. But there's no question that is how you're going to get the highest connection rate. After that, if let's say, so day 1, 3 times and 1 text message, then if they came in the morning, you text them again in the morning. If they don't respond to that, you call them again in the evening. And you kind of reverse that process of trying to see, are they more available in the evening or are they more available in the morning? And you try to contact and you switch it up. Every single one of our leads is called and texted 15 times within the first 9 days.
Wow.
After that, if they still do not contact with them, they get put into a long-term call series, which is 2 times a month indefinitely for the life of that lead. So unless that person tells me to leave me the fuck alone, they'll get a call for the rest of their life for two times a month.
Wow. I like the indefinitely part. I think that one of the things that he's touched on in so many other of the episodes, though, is like it's still a contact sport. You still got to get your ass on the phone. You still got to get in front of people. You still have to be able to convert. And then on top of it, like once they're in your system, they don't ever get out unless they unsubscribe from everything and you never switch CRMs, or they just freak out on you and it's ultimately not worth it.
And one thing that go ahead.
Sorry, Nick. Go ahead.
One thing that you had really taught us is hitting them from different avenues, right? So, I mean, we were hitting them on calls. We recently, when we left Commissions Inc., right? So there's the plug.
Since we're bagging on people this episode, like, fuck Commissions.
Yeah,
screw those guys.
After we left Commissions Inc. and went back to Boomtown, because they accepted that the leads that we generated were valid leads and we could set them up on auto text. On top of texting them, calling them, we have our own email drip campaign within Boomtown. Zach set us up even through just a simple email program like MailChimp that goes out. So we're hitting them with different avenues. Now you throw the chatbot in, then you throw in the broadcast messages to their Facebook message accounts. I mean, how many times do you overskip an email? But if I sent you a Facebook message, that's almost 100% read rate. Mm-hmm. Right. So
I'm looking at it. I'm looking, Nick, at your broadcasts actually right now, and we've been implementing broadcasts for about 4 or 5 months now with you, and we're at a 89% open rate and a 16% click-through rate.
That's good.
You're not getting that.
Yeah.
You're not getting that.
And that's growing, right? So I mean, we're adding people every day on that, and I'm spending okay money. I think I'm spending. Between everything, I'm probably right at 2 G's a month that I'm spending, and from that, I can tell you that we've sent people through pre-approval process. We're getting people under contract, and as that continues to grow out, that just like circle prospecting or anything else, that's going to pay. That's like now our huge funnel, and that should pay us over the next 2 to 3 years. Yep. If we do our follow up on top of the automated process, that's going to help kick some dust up.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I mean Brian's our Facebook guy, so I was glad he asked some of those questions because I don't really know a whole lot about how the retargeting and pixels, that's the extent of my Facebook knowledge.
Well, and I mean, I like your approach, Zach, because, you know, I'm one of these guys who's probably a lot like you in the sense that every time that Facebook comes out with something new, or really just any sort of tech avenue for marketing in general, like, I nerd out on it and I want to know everything about it. And I think it's going to be like the next thing that I can master before everybody else. Like, you know, when ManyChat first came out, and I was one of the first guys that, like, like most of their features were still in beta. I was like, this is the future. I'm the only fucking person who knows about it. Like, there's no way anybody's using chatbots right now. And I just, honestly, dude, my biggest problem is I'll play with it so much I'll never use it, right? And that's what I tend to do, right? So I'll have all these multi-layered campaigns and all this retargeting and all this stuff that I think is really cool just for the sake of being cool. I'm like, dude, and I mean, I tell people at listing appointments, I'm like, when you click on one of our ads for a listing, I'll haunt you in your dreams because our ads will just follow you around forever, and I'll hit you from different angles. I'll be peeking in your blinds at night. You don't even know, like, and that's true, and you could set it up that way. But at the same time, like, does that really work, or should I really just keep my cost per lead down and try and generate a higher level of volume, and then have great scripts, have great follow-up, have great avenues, multi-layered or multi-avenue follow-up plans that convert people, rather than just being really, really excited because you figured out how to make things look cool on Facebook the way that Amazon does. You know, like, there's a glamour element to it that I have trouble getting over. And so I like that you guys have such a simplistic approach, because I think that's the best way to keep it.
Well, and that's not how it always was either. I mean, we have I'm not sure it's the most well-known, but one of the most well-known real estate chatbots, which I think is actually how Nick found out about us. Yeah. And it was this big, robust, badass fucking thing that had so much NLP in there, natural language processing. So essentially you were going to have an actual conversation with a robot. And it was just this enormous thing that took us months to build, and thousands of real estate agents bought it, and it just didn't work. It just absolutely did not work. And we literally just stripped it down to the bare bones to figure out what were the parts that were needed. One of my business partners, our software engineer, he has a weekly calls with the CEO of ManyChat, as well as the CEO of ChatFuel, the other chatbot platform. And he's on the developer Slack channel, and like he goes back and forth with them all the time, because they always want to know what new software do they need to implement in there. And I mean, more times than not, it's the simple approaches that are really what you need.
Yeah.
Well, and Zach, I'm going to walk you guys through a little bit of my questions when I was interviewing Zach, because I was talking to him and another company, right? And
Gary V's company.
Yeah, Gary V's
who
company.
Who now has bought all of our chatbot stuff.
There we go.
Yes. Have they really?
Yeah.
Love it. So I made the right choice.
Yeah.
So my first question to him, or maybe it was my second, is the difference between generating buyer leads and seller leads. So walk us through. Is it a viable option to generate seller leads on Facebook, or does it just make more sense to put that marketing spend just geared towards buyers?
Yeah. So I had this conversation with a prospective client yesterday, and he said, "What if I tell you I want 1,000 seller leads a month?" And I was like, "What if I told you your budget was going to have to be $50,000?" And he was like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "Well, if you want exclusively sellers, that's what it's going to take, man. I know that makes your life easier for a seller, and $50 a lead for a seller, you're going to tell me that's not worth it?" And he's like, "No, that's not worth it for me." I'm like, "Okay, well then let us do our strategy." So and it's not just that generating seller leads are more expensive. It's also that it requires a lot more work on your behalf, because you have to farm out neighborhoods. And by farming out neighborhoods, it's primarily going to be generating content. So you have to sit there, and we're not generating content for you. It would make no sense. You have to run on your own brand. And so you have to constantly be coming up with new video content and constantly coming up with the new ideas. And we can help you with those ideas, but it's a lot of work on the front end as well as the back end. So it's expensive leads. You need to do more content. And also you have to understand that the turnover rate there, I mean, it could easily be 18 to 24 months before you really start to see those seller leads start to convert. Where what we do is, as I mentioned, the 275,000 homeowners that we have acquired as a custom audience and then build a lookalike audience, we target those people as well as lookalike audiences with our buyer ads. So you're going to get a lot of people that are buying that are homeowners. And I'm not saying every person that's buying is going to be also wanting to sell their home, but you can bet your ass a decent number of them are going to be.
Well, yeah,
right?
that's what people get excited about, too. They get excited about the buying side. Nobody's looking on Facebook for a real estate agent from a sponsored ad, but you will look for how you're voyeuristic like that, right? So you're going to you're gonna catch them where they're excited about looking on the buy side. That's a much better approach.
Yeah.
What else did you grow?
So you can do the sellers. You're not going to have tangible results for a long time. You're going to have to put a lot more content out there, and it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of money.
So we picked up 3 listings last year from 4 different farm areas that we started just last year. You guys want to know my cost per acquisition on those 3 listings were per individual listing?
$125.
So that's between Facebook ads and actual direct mail as well. EDDM.
$250.
$8,000
per lead.
per listing.
Per listing.
Yeah, not per lead. I don't know what it was per lead. I have to calculate
so
that.
he lost $2,000 per homeowner.
So
we got a sign in the yard.
We spent $2,000 a month for 12 months, and we got 3 listings. Ooh. So it was $8,000 per listing that we picked up.
Would you do it again?
In theory, though, with the seller campaigns, over time it's going to compound, right? So maybe in the first year you're going to take a loss, but then by year 5, ideally you're seeing 2-3x ROI because that's when the people are going to start to convert. But I mean, I'm not here to do that. Like I don't have the patience.
The conversation becomes how else can you reach these people in 5 years and brand yourself through content generation and things like that, working your way into the community in other ways rather than just brute force, which is just throwing your marketing dollars at it and waiting long enough for people to realize who you are, So I think you guys' approach is much more cohesive.
And Zach, are you only geared towards Facebook, or are you starting to explore that Instagram world and some of the other platforms?
Yeah, I mean, we'll throw some Instagram ads around. We've done it with you a little bit. Doesn't make sense for us right now. It's more expensive and lower quality. The audience on Instagram, which a lot of people will argue with me, are number one, not used to seeing ads, don't really want to see ads, at least for like real estate. There's a couple of other industries like fashion where
retail.
Yeah, exactly. It makes sense to have your stuff on Instagram there, especially if you can make it not look like an ad. We can't really make your shit not look like an ad, and they're not really there to see that. And then not only that, but the demographic is significantly younger. It really is. The monthly active users are so much younger than Facebook.
Right.
So.
And so, because you talk to and you interview, I've watched you on the Whiskey Nights Thursday or whatever you call it, Whiskey Thursdays, and you're interviewing. I would love to. I'd love to because you were drinking wine the last time I saw it. And I'm like, that's bullshit. You need a good bourbon on there.
Yeah, for sure.
And,
you see me where I'm blacked out drunk and they have to delete it the next day is because I start talking too much shit.
That's fair.
We need to have you in person on our show.
Yeah, need to like and subscribe to that
We
show.
need you in studio.
Yeah.
But, with you talking and interviewing multiple agents and vice versa, they're interviewing you, where do you see that most agents fail when it comes to spending their marketing dollars, right? Because I'm probably not wrong on this when that they come in all euphoric and they hire you, and then 30 days later, in fact, you and I had a conversation about someone who was treating you like shit. 30 days later, they're blaming you because they don't have any business.
It's so simple. So I'm not sure it's going to answer your question in terms of marketing dollars, but they don't have systems in place and they suck at follow-up.
Yeah.
Which kind of are cohesive.
Yeah.
And that's been the problem with all lead gen, right? Like even when people were just buying Zillow leads and Realtor.com leads, these leads suck. It's because nobody follows up with them. right? 6 phone calls and they're done, or if you can get that many.
Well, I think there was a stat somewhere where it was based on a Realtor.com. I think it was one of their lead stats that's saying that agents were still taking 24 hours to call, right? And I'm like, we live.
Why do you think Realtor.com got rid of their lead gen system and are now you can sign up with OpCity? That's the option you got. Because OpCity is going to get you an ROI, and Realtor.com is not going to have a turnover rate because OpCity is fucking crushing it.
Exactly.
They run an amazing machine over there at OpCity, but at the same time, with the cost of the spend and paying a referral fee, because you still have to spend money to be a part of it, right?
I think it's just.
I don't know if there's an upfront cost. I know there's a referral fee on the back end.
Big time referral fee.
Yeah,
but
it's 35% referral.
Yeah, it's monster.
Yeah, 35%. But I know when I was looking at it, they wouldn't let us in the program unless we spent money at OpCity, and then they were going to call our leads, and then I had to spend money on that. So let's say it was like $500 a month to call 50 leads or whatever it was. Then if they sent us back one of our own leads, then I had to pay a referral fee on top of that.
Well, here's what I'll tell you about OpCity. Their lead handoff is pristine.
Yeah,
like the whole lead handoff process is unreal. And you're just all of a sudden. I mean, you hit yes, and 45 seconds later, you're on the phone with somebody who wants to talk to a real estate agent.
Yeah. But that's why our industry is failing. Yeah, 100%. That's why we are failing.
Yeah,
because we aren't making the calls.
I don't know if I'm really allowed to say it, so hopefully I am. But I mean, we send leads to OpCity.
Yeah.
They gladly handle them. They gladly take our leads. And so like the single agent that says our leads suck, it's like, well, OpCity doesn't think they suck.
Yeah, they're pretty much industry standard. Calling people in 4 seconds right now.
$1 million, So.
Yeah. Well, what do we want to get in here so we wrap this up, man?
Yeah. What are you experiencing that we haven't asked you yet?
Not a lot, man. The lead gen industry hasn't changed a lot, whether it's online, whatever it is. Like, there's not, the only thing it comes down to is, especially if you're looking to hire a marketing team, is to ensure that they are not just a pure lead gen team, is to make sure that you vet them out and that they are going to assist you with your systems. Because maybe you're good at turning Zillow leads. Maybe you're good at the mailers. Social media leads are a little bit of a different game. And so you have to have someone that has the experience to help you with converting those. So the days of just hiring a lead gen company, I think should be just absolutely gone. Yeah. I think you need assistance with the other portions of turning that lead into money.
Well, I mean, I think that in and of itself is a really good point, in that not a lot has changed. Like, we are always looking for the next shortcut, the next shiny toy that's going to take away from us having to do the hard shit that we're supposed to do every day. Or just, I mean, not even hard shit, just the stuff that we don't want to do, right? That we just don't want to do follow-up, and we don't want to keep having these conversations that we feel like aren't going anywhere or whatever. Like, it is tough to be in real estate because if you're converting 3% of your leads, you're on top of the world. That means you got to fail 97% of the time. That's not fun for a lot of people, right? But that's not going – it's good news that hasn't changed, right? Because that means that the people that are willing to put in that work – good for you. You don't have to learn anything new, right? You might have to learn how leads get put into your CRM through different avenues and things like that. But if you're a master of follow-up, the game has not changed, right? And so congratulations. It will pretty much always be the same. If you can't do that, if you can't systematize, if you can't follow up, if you can't just grind it out, it doesn't really matter how many tools you have. You're not going to use them properly, and people aren't going to care.
Yep.
Well,
that's the thing,
and that's honestly, that's why we created the ISA team is – do you want to be told no 97 out of 100 times? Fuck no. No one does. And guess what? My ISA team doesn't give a fuck because they get paid hourly.
Yes. Yes.
There you go.
But that should be the same mentality we have, because your guys are paid hourly. Us as agents, if you think about it, we're paid a lot more per phone call. Even those 97 no's, if you go and break down your average commission rate to get to that yes, and that closes, that's $500 to $1,000 to $2,500 per call, depending on what that sale ends up being.
100%.
And I've never understood why we get discouraged when I'm like, oh, had a shitty day, set one appointment or set 0, but but you have 5 nurtures in there.
Yep.
Great. Those are going to pay you huge. That's why we crushed it in expireds, right? That's why we killed it in circle prospecting, because it doesn't matter that someone's tells you to go jump off a bridge, or that we're ambulance chasers or we're bottom feeders. At the end of the day, that's just one step closer to someone telling us yes. And I'm going to tell you, circle prospecting, when we were at our prime on that, we made a ton of money.
Yeah.
And I had to hire OSAs because our agents wouldn't necessarily do it, and agents who have an ISA team or are on a team, you typically get paid a little bit less. So that's why it's better, especially when you have a lead coming in at 9 o'clock at night. Send them that text message and make that call. Yep. Because if they're inquiring about it, they're not necessarily going to be upset, and if they are, you can diffuse that situation real easy. Just give them what they're asking for. So in our area, like whether it's the foreclosure list that Zach's created, or if it's the zero money down, what do people want? They want what they freaking requested. It's simple.
Yep.
So Zach, where can people find you?
The top place where I think it's best to dive into us, and I think you can learn a lot about our team and everything we're doing, is our Facebook group. It's called Real Estate Marketing and Conversion Mastery. Bit of a mouthful there, but that's a great place. And then just BraintrustInteractive.com works as well. Or just look me up on Facebook.
Awesome.
I live on that fucking.
Well, we have your support. We've got your supporter, Amanda Ziegler. She's been commenting down below. She did say that you weren't drinking whiskey and Mountain Dew, so that's good. So
yeah. The other asshole that does the show with me is drinking Mountain Dew, and I almost had a rage blackout. Mountain Dew and whiskey. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
That's called a Ricky Bobby special.
It is a Ricky Bobby.
Unless he's drinking like Canadian Mist or something like that.
Right.
Unreal.
I mean,
Red Label.
Red Label. No, you can't do that on the Red Label. Come on, man. And then Amanda also said nurturing is the key, but you have to be good at it and genuine. People can tell when you're only in it for the money. So love your job and love what you do. So I love that Amanda's a big supporter of yours. And then Zach, if you could after this, drop your group in there. Amanda's already done it, so she's on top of it.
Yep, Amanda has passed us.
I'm going to see if you're looking for a job, Amanda.
So Amanda's actually our VA, and I can almost guarantee you she's looking for a little bit more work, Nick. So that's
awesome.
a genuine offer.
Awesome.
Amanda's a rock.
Then I will be talking to Amanda right after this.
There you go.
And of course, if you've loved this show and love what Zach's talking about, or if you've, like we said, if you love Gary Vee, thumbs up or thumbs down.
Make sure to tag him in this, whatever.
Or tag him, or thumbs down it if you don't like him. Well, we know Elizabeth loves it. And then if you've loved this, like this, love this, comment on it, share this, please. We're really starting to gain some traction here.
Yep.
On YouTube. Subscribe, ring the bell, leave us a comment. And then iTunes, leave us a review.
I think that's it, man. We'll make sure to link Zach everywhere.
Yeah, we'll link everything up, and then how you can find Zach and really get to hire him out. I vouch for him, and I don't make anything off this.
Yeah, we know how he feels when he doesn't like somebody.
Yeah,
he comes to the show and blasts them.
Yeah. So, Zach, I appreciate you coming on last minute, man. And next week, we
will.
Or may not.
Lion Desk.
Have the Lion
Zach,
Desk
tune in next week.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Because I'm going to have to be again when he doesn't show up.
Exactly. We'll just pick this right up where we left off.
Yep. If we don't have the Lion Desk on, then it'll be Zach round 2.
Yeah, Zach round 2. Just saying I told you so, you bastards. All right, man. Thanks a lot, Zach. Derek, go ahead and take us out today, friend.